Let's talk about Ed Miliband. He is Crazy Ed, the net zero secretary. He, of course, wants us all to get heat pumps and recently boasted, yes, my house, it's got a heat pump, you know, it's very, very eco-friendly, very green. Well, that turns out to be his London home. In his constituency in South Yorkshire, it emerges that his house there does not have a heat pump. And it is fueled by electricity and gas in the normal, un-eco-friendly way that millions of us fuel our houses by as well. So that's bad enough. No heat pump for him. But he actually charges us, British taxpayers, for his electricity and gas bills. I mean, you couldn't make this stuff up, could you? It's unbelievable. Let's talk to the environment editor at the Daily Sceptic, Chris Morrison. Chris, another reason I'm trying to choose my words carefully here, feel suspicious about Ed Miliband. I mean, apart from all his many other sins, he's just a hypocrite. Hasn't got a heat pump in his constituency home in South Yorkshire, but charges taxpayers expenses for his electricity and gas bills. As I said just now, you couldn't really make that up, could you?
Yeah, no, you couldn't. Hi there, Gav. I hear you're just back over a 2-week refreshing holiday. So,
I am, yes.
So I'm afraid we're back on the mad Miliband feet.
Yes. Yeah, he hasn't changed. But I mean, that is the kind of thing. I mean, do you think, I mean, interestingly, you will have noted that Keir Starmer tried to kick him off the net zero beat and he refused. He absolutely refused to move. So he's staying with that. But this kind of news, this kind of revelation, that proves that Ed Miliband is saying to all of us, do as I say, not what I do. This infuriates the electorate, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's almost worse than hypocrisy. I mean, OK, you could even say, well, maybe he's just had a new boiler and sustainably he doesn't want to put a new one in. But that's not the point. He's in charge of a system whereby the gas boiler manufacturers have to supply a certain number of gas boilers in the next year or so. And if they don't, they're fined. And those fines, we think, may well add £25 to every gas boiler sold. So by him not buying a gas boiler, he's actually sort of a policy of which he's in favour of. He's actually putting that £25 tax on the rest of us. The poor, of course, and I always say this, the poor will pay it most. The rich won't notice it. The poor pay an extra 25 quid. And it's down to people like Miliband. So the least he could do is put one of these damn things in his house. Of course, why should he put one of these damn things in his house? Because they're pretty useless. First of all, you need to completely insulate the house. That probably costs, for an average, say, London semi, it would probably cost 65 grand in order to make the thing hermetically sealed. Then you have to either dig up the garden or put an enormous thing in that causes an enormous amount of noise to the neighbours. We've all stayed in hotel rooms where we're next to the air conditioning unit. You've got that all day, all night, in fact, in particular. You have to put in bigger pipes. And after you've done all that, and you're about 13 grand down the Swanee, the damn thing still doesn't work properly. So I can well see why he's not doing it. What I can't see is why he's allowed to get away, why there isn't an uprising almost, a feeling against a lot of this nonsense technology. You see it. There was a poll I noticed in the Times where, first of all, you see climate change and the whole idea of worrying about the climate has really slipped down the agenda. But only about 30% of people now are in favour of this ban on gas boilers in new buildings, and only about 30% of people are in favour of the complete ban on internal combustion cars, which is coming in 2030, and which again will load in future sales, coming up to a garage near you, will load future sales, future fines onto the purchase price of petrol cars.
I think I'm right in saying that apart from Keir Starmer, of course, who is always in the air, and until recently David Lammy, the Foreign Secretary, that Ed Miliband is the Cabinet Minister, the Cabinet Secretary with the most air miles to his name, and his department, the Net Zero Eco Department, their staff, the staff there fly around Britain on an unprecedented scale. So instead of getting a train from London to Birmingham, they fly. They fly to Manchester. So in other words, they don't really seem to care very much about the environment when it comes to their own behaviour. Now, in February, the Have Ticket Will Fly Net Zero Secretary boasted about his house in London. Yes, it's got a heat pump. It's very, very green. Yeah, very, very. That very month, while he was boasting about his green credentials in London, he claimed £121.18 for gas and £47.73 for electricity at his constituency home, paid for, of course, by the taxpayer. I mean, that is annoying, hypocritical, and it undermines him. You'd think he'd have the common sense to try not to come across as such a liar and a hypocrite, but apparently not.
Well, that's small fry, if I might say so. Taking a helicopter ride to Birmingham, John Kerry, whose family owns a private plane, who was arch eco-loony in the United States under Biden, justified flying on private planes because he literally said that the good he did in saving the planet outweighed the cost of flying on the private plane. The actor DiCaprio flew famously 8,000 miles on a private plane to pick up an award for environmentalism.
That's right. And do you remember John Kerry? He came to Britain, and he was, I think he was staying at the American ambassador's residence, fantastic place in Regent's Park, and he went for lunch to the very posh Mayfair restaurant Scott's, which I think you could walk there in about half an hour. It's about 2 miles max, and he went to Scott's in a convoy of 22 cars. These people are unbelievable, aren't they?
Yes, well, it's all the protection they come up with. I mean, all the American presidents. I mean, I think that Starmer's probably got a convoy of 3 or 4 now, hasn't he? But going back to the Miliband sacking that wasn't, it appears that Keir Starmer does want to get rid of him because, but he's unable to. He is unable to. If you saw one example in the last year of the weakness of this Prime Minister, weakness of a man who's got this huge majority, it's the inability to remove Ed Miliband. Because Ed Miliband, let's be quite clear about it, is destroying the economic basis of this country. He's almost single-handedly taking a hatchet to it. The oil and gas business is being cut right back. Aberdeen is basically being hung out to dry. We had INEOS recently saying they were going to...
they're going to leave Britain, aren't they? Going to invest in America.
$3 billion of you've had enormous pressure on the budgets. He's unable to do anything about that. Miliband spending. We've had even things like, which don't always get noticed, but because they're closing down the North Sea quicker, you're getting all of the decommissioning of existing plant is happening a lot quicker, and that means that they're using their perfectly legal tax breaks in order to decommission. So they're requiring even more money. They're giving less money in taxes, and they're requiring more money in the tax breaks that have been agreed, normal tax breaks, in order to decommission all of these structures. So everywhere you look, you see a complete outsourcing of jobs. You see, even for the green technologies, the windmills, the solar farms, all being produced by cheap energy, produced by coal in China, usually using, often using slave labor. There aren't enough children in the Congo to mine all the cobalt that's needed for all the batteries and the cars that are made elsewhere. He's taken an axe and destroying our country. And I think that people, and I don't think it really has gone into the consciousness of the vast majority of the Labour Party, but I think that the people in power, the people who actually see the figures, can see this, and I think they try and get rid of him. What's actually worse is, do you remember Sir Patrick Vallance?
Yeah, of course. How can I forget?
How can we forget? Baron Vallance of Balham, having sort of helped completely wreck the country's economy with a wholly unnecessary COVID lockdown over a year and a half, which generations will be paying, well into the future, destroying children's education, telling everybody where they can meet, locking us in our homes. He's now moved on. Guess where? He's now a Minister of State at, again, guess where? The Department of Net Zero. And
God, yeah, I saw that. I mean, that's really, really worrying. And the thing about Ed Miliband is this. And this is a window into the tortured psyche of the Labour Party, or the Labour movement, if you like. The reason he's so powerful is among the Labour faithful, this was revealed recently in that thing, Labour List, Ed Miliband is by a country mile the most popular cabinet secretary. Second, funny enough, was Angela Rayner, but she was quite a long way back. Ed Miliband is so popular among the Labour faithful that you wouldn't believe it. And therefore, when Keir Starmer says, hey, Ed, how do you fancy housing, or whatever it was he promised, Ed Miliband didn't fancy that and basically said, I'm not moving, and if you move me, you will risk the fury of the majority of Labour supporters. So that's, you've got a net zero secretary now who in effect has more power than the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is powerless to stop this lunatic.
Yeah. And it's very worrying that he's able to call on a Labour Party. I say we're getting to the stage now where anybody who's in favour of all this is either evil or very stupid.
Or both.
No, but I mean, it's a serious question.
No, I know.
Yeah, because, you know, what are these people doing? We recall the private members bill, the climate and nature bill, which went through a second reading, or didn't pass, thankfully. And this would have, it was difficult to see from the figures, but you could work it out. This would have reduced the use of hydrocarbons. This is in everything: plastic manufacture, food, fertilizers, energy. This would have reduced the use of hydrocarbons in the British economy to 10%. And this included all imported use. They would have counted everything that was made abroad. It would reduce it to 10% within a period of about 6 to 10 years. That would not have been enough energy or hydrocarbons to even fund emergency services. You have to be very, very stupid to have voted for that bill. And yet 200 of these Muppets, these Muppet MPs, were actually in favour of it, including all of the Liberal Democrats, all of the Green Party, and 80 of the backbenchers in the Labour Party. Now, you have to really ask questions. What are these people doing anywhere near the levers of power in this country?
Yeah, and what is it?
It's either rank stupidity, or there's some sort of, I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but there's obviously something going on here that we don't know about. There's some sort of planning of some sort of controlling agenda that I personally think the British public will never tolerate. But then we tolerated it in COVID. We were locked down for a year and a half. Who knows what is...
These people that you're talking about, Chris, are the people who look up to Ed Miliband, and that is terrifying and inexplicable, if you ask me. But this guy, this hypocrisy, this will hit him hard, but probably not hard enough. He is a bit Teflon, I'm afraid. Listen, Chris, really good to talk to you again. Good to catch up. Come on again soon. That's Chris Morrison, the excellent environment editor at the Daily Sceptic.